And welcome back to my next video. Today we're going to meet Stephen. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Bob.
And Stephen is an expert, I would say. You probably is going to deny it, of course.
I'm an expert amateur.
Yeah, an expert amateur. There you go. You'll never find a better amateur.
No.
At finding jobs that pay well and support him and he enjoys. So that's going to be our focus. You've done lots of jobs, and we'll talk about the various jobs and pluses, minuses, and how you can set yourself up for a really good life on the road, finding jobs and thriving. We're in Quartzsite, Arizona now, and here in Quartzsite, you are working at Discount Solar.
Correct.
And you've been working there for the winter. You come in and do installs.
Yep.
And you've been doing that on and off for 9 years?
Yep. This will be my, not consecutive, but my 9th season since I started working there.
Wow, that is a lot.
That is a lot.
9 years ago, solar was a really new thing. So you must have been just jumped right in.
Yeah, I started out, and they always start you off kind of as a roof guy doing the simple stuff. But 9 years ago, solar was coming up so new that we were cutting MC4s off of panels and butt connecting wires because we didn't know how to crimp MC4s on the other end. Like, it's a big change from then till now.
So you are pretty darn familiar with solar.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
Well, do you do solar installs for other people?
I do. I can do simple installs, travel trailers, vans, RVs. Modern technology has a lot of integrated systems where I don't have the knowledge base to get onto, but a self-standing solar system, I do those for folks all the time.
Okay, and so I know people write me all the time. Who do you know who can install my solar? They have the money, they just don't have the know-how.
Right.
And so why don't you tell people how they can get hold of you?
Sure. Well, the easiest way to get hold of me is through social media. My Vanlife page is Fantasy Express. That's fantasy with a V. And that's really the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Okay. So if you're looking for solar work, be sure and give Stephen a call. You're young yet. How are you supporting yourself on the road?
I get asked this question often, and people will often jump to, like, are you a digital nomad, or are you independently wealthy? And my answer is, I'm the odd analog nomad. I work with my hands and I trade my time for money. So I find jobs either through groups like yourself or through my network. I have friends all over the country, artists all over the country that I go and work with whenever an opportunity arises.
And you're a bit of a handyman as well, is that right?
Yep. I'm
So you could help someone do a build?
Absolutely. I do some. I used to be an instructor for the machine shop for an architecture school.
Oh wow.
Wood shop, welding shop. I was the safety and tools instructor for them.
Oh my.
In my young age, I've done a lot of jobs, from foundryman, welder, remodeler, electrician, solar installer, auto bodies. My dad grew up in an auto body shop. So lots of different.
You know, people ask me all the time, if all these young people go out, how are they preparing for the old age? And that was the answer. Gain multiple skills.
And on that same note, part of the impetus for me hitting the road was that, what are we doing for the old age? When 10 years ago, when my partner back then and I were talking about it, we were like, hey, if we're gonna be poor when we're old, let's not wait to see this country.
Right.
Let's go now if I'm gonna work anyways. And what I discovered is that I could save more money living on the road than I ever could living in a house.
Right.
And it really kind of changed the game for me to be able to, I can go work 6 months, I can put some money aside, I can take some time off, and then I can go work again.
And still save.
And still save. You know, and be prepared for eventualities and feel comfortable about it. People often ask me how do you go do this not having a job next week or not? It's like, well, I've got a little bit of money in the bank just in case. If the van breaks down in some random city, the joke that I say is, well, I live here now until I fix the van. But that's how I handle it. And I have faith that with my skills and my personality, I can always find a job.
You can always find a job.
And I'm not beside, below putting myself in it. If I've got to go be a bagger at a grocery store or do anything, if that's what it takes, if I could be a cash register, that's A-okay. That's what I'm doing for a short period of time.
Right, right. You'll never be without a job, especially with the skills you've accumulated. They're going to be, we as a whole country, we've moved away from working with our hands.
Yes.
And so many people can't do it, that those that can are always set.
Yep, yep. And I always like to share that knowledge whenever I can too. I had a friend who wanted to update her solar system recently, and she was like, hey, will you come and do it for me? And I said, listen, I work all week, and how about we do it differently, and I empower you to do it. And I walked her through the entire process of doing her solar upgrade. The system was already built, she just needed to upgrade it. And after I did that for her, she goes, thank you so much. So many people that have offered to do this for me get frustrated and jump in and just do it.
Right.
And I don't learn anything. But she's like, this time I learned so much. And since you've left, I've also done this, and I've also done this, and I've also done that. And I was like, that's what I wanted for you, was to empower you to be able to rescue yourself.
Right. So what are some of the jobs you've had on the road?
So when I started this 10 years ago, I think it was Work Camper News was the first.
Yes.
Was the first RV kind of insight into work camping.
I got my first job through them in 2008.
Yeah. So the first winter we took out, I already had an in to do a Christmas tree lot.
Mm-hmm.
So the first actual job out of the RV was working a Christmas tree lot for that winter. Then we did some odd jobs. We did Valentine's Day flower delivery.
Oh, wow.
We worked a golf tournament. And then we went to our first work camping job that was in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Campground, marina, restaurant, excellent people to work for. Met some lifelong friends there.
Yes.
So I've done the work camping, like the standard, clean the cabins, maintain the campground, clean out the fire pits. Then I've done, some non-nomadic jobs, being a sculptor. I've helped friends that are large-scale sculptors build large 40-foot tall sculptures. Spent the summer in Birmingham doing that. And those jobs come, they go. Sometimes I need a job now. And I've done some of the other things, like a couple of years ago, I had a job fall out, and I called a friend up, like, hey man, what's going on this summer? He goes, hey, check out Bob's video on this place called DigiKey, and come check it out. I've already been up here for a month, it's all right. Okay, so I called them up, and yeah, they gave me the gig, and I went up there, did that. Same friend was like, well, when you're done there, why don't you come to Beet Harvest with me? So I went and did that, and those are some of the standard jobs that I've done, and I don't know, there's a bunch of other ones in between.
Whatever came up, you took it.
I take it,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty resourceful, so if I don't have a job, I'll find ways to make money.
Right, right.
I've got tools and I got skills.
Have you done Amazon?
No.
No.
I'll say I like being outdoors.
Right.
So for myself, DigiKey wasn't a great fit, although it was a fine paying job, and the fact that they offered me a house was great, but I like to be outdoors.
And so of all the jobs you've taken, which one would you jump at first to go back to?
Ooh. Well, I still go back to the Beet Harvest every year, and even though it's brutal,
Right.
it pays good.
That pay is good.
You
make the most money in the shortest period of time.
In the shortest period of time, absolutely.
You're outdoors, which is...
I'm outdoors, even though it's brutal.
That's brutal. Okay, well, anyone that doesn't know much about the Beet Harvest, what's brutal about it?
It's cold, it's moist, but what's really brutal about it is consecutive 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
Is the real kicker. The work itself isn't hard. It's being out there every day for 12 hours, again and again and again. This year, I think I did 14 consecutive 12-hour days before getting a break.
Wow. But then that was a whole lot of overtime.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you get that big money in a short period.
Absolutely, absolutely. If I could do that every month, I would be sitting real pretty.
Right, right. So that is the one you're always almost certain to go back to because you get paid
because
so well.
the pay is really good.
Right.
Yeah. I would love to go work at that marina in the Black Hills again.
Yeah.
I like fishing, and if you can add in fishing to what we're doing, like, you're going to get top billing as to what that job is going to be.
You bet.
Get me by the water. I'm from Florida, so I love being by the water.
Uh-huh. whatever your hobby is, you can probably find a campground hosting job at that.
Yes. So the way I find my jobs is, number one is my Nomad community. If I don't know where I'm going, I'll ask around, hey, I want to be in this area. What have you done there that might, be favorable? That's the first place I go, is try and find somebody, because then I know that a job, I can have a reference. I'm not just cold calling a job.
Right.
You never know what you're going to get into. Some of the jobs aren't that great. They just know that the
Right.
Nomads are a revolving door, and they'll just keep shuffling new people in. I don't want to work at those. I want to work at high-level places. So that's always my first go-to, is call my network.
Friends.
Reach out to friends.
And that takes some time. I mean,
To
you've been
build
doing
that
this
up.
10 years,
Yeah.
so I imagine you've built up quite a community.
I sure have. I sure have. And between that and in my regular life, I've built up a pretty wide community around this country. I'd say I'm never more than a state away from a friend's driveway if I need it. Then the other one would be the simple online searches through the work camper groups or Cool Works or any of the online kind of nomad job resources that we have out there.
Right.
If I were to try and live in a city, then I freelance a lot, because there I can pick up handyman jobs and kind of pick up things that I don't have to report to anyone else. If I can do a couple of handyman jobs a week, that's the same as having a regular job.
Right. And probably getting paid more. And
Well, yeah, that's like I only have to work
yeah.
a couple of days instead of all 5.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And so one of the things I like to ask younger people is, what about your old age? Are you building up Social Security? Are you usually drawing Social Security? Paying into?
Yeah, I'm usually paying into it, so I will have that. Part of my goal, part of what's kept me back on the road, is my desire to have my art studio again. So I'm looking to buy a little piece of property that I can build my little art studio again, so I can build bigger sculptures, get out of this scale and get back into this scale, which are more profitable and a little more easy to turn over, oddly enough. So that's kind of my plan for the future, is to set myself up with a couple of properties that maybe a south and a north, a cold and a hot. And I've started a little side business of a little van rental business on the side, which has been providing me with a little bit of side income. This year will be the second year that I'm running that, and we'll see how this year goes. I'll have a full year in to do that. And as I'm getting older, I am seeing that, my hands are starting to hurt a bit more and my knees are hurting a bit more. So I know that I'm not going to be able to swing hammers for forever here. So I'm trying to get some residual income built up. The property, I will hope we'll have some opportunities for that. And the van rentals have already been very good for that.
Well, do you mind sharing a little bit about the van rental?
Oh, no, not at all. Last year, actually, I was driving through Durango, Colorado, and I passed an outdoorsy store. And I was like, I thought they were just an online place. And I walk in and I talk to the guy, and he's like, oh yeah, no, we got this, and you can rent a van. He's like, I know a lady that rents 3 vans and pays for a whole year's worth of living with 3 vans. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. So I reached out to a friend that I knew had a van that was sitting in her yard. And I was like, hey, will you sell me that van? She's like, yeah, get it out of here, it's dying. And I knew it was a nice van. So I went to Florida, picked up the van, drove it back to Colorado, fixed it up, and put it online on Outdoorsy for rent. And it's just a vintage Dodge Ram, very simple build out, little solar panel, battery, fridge, a bed, countertop. And I rent that through Outdoorsy for, I think it's $150 a night. And people can go take it to the Rockies, take it into the Rocky Mountains there, because it's parked right outside. And it's really nice.
And so they're handling all the business.
Correct.
You just own and operate, maintain the van.
Correct. I own and operate and maintain the van. They handle the insurance. They handle the customer background checks. They keep a percentage. I think they keep 25. It used to be 20. It went up to 25% this year. So yeah, they keep their percentage and I get the rest. Since I travel full time, I have a friend that's a single dad, and he manages the van for me in Denver, so that he can get a little extra cash for me. I have somewhere to save to keep the van, and I can continue to travel. I'm not tied down to where the van is parked.
So afterwards, after every trip, it has to be make sure to clean and restocked
Right.
and anything broken fixed.
Correct.
He's doing that all for
He
you.
handles that for me. So I pay him a monthly fee and I pay him turnovers for the vans, and he just keeps the van going for me. And when I come through in the spring or fall, I do any major repairs that need to be done.
Wow. So you're putting almost no effort in and got a passive income forever.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
So my goal is to add a van a year for the next couple of years.
Oh, wow.
And if I can do that, hopefully I can move out from too much of the hand work. You know, I can start picking my jobs that I want to do instead of being forced to work the whole time.
Right. Passive income is really the best way to possibly do it.
Absolutely. And over the past few years, I'm really making a push towards more passive income opportunities. The passive income has been huge. Like having that light bulb go off of, hey man, you're not going to be able to do it like you've been doing it.
What would be your general advice, anyone out there who is going on the road and they want to keep working and travel, how do they find their job?
My biggest suggestion would be to go ahead and make a Facebook account and join the groups that are offering work camping jobs and mobile jobs, because there's a lot of opportunities offered there. And sometimes those opportunities might not be the right one, but they'll give you an idea of where to look, where to find a place. So just because we're hermits and we're kind of nomads, we kind of keep to ourselves, doesn't mean that we shouldn't be able to reach out into the internet, the social networks, to be able to draw some of that to help ourselves out. And I'd also say that anytime you're somewhere, let it be known that, hey, I can do these things. I'm available if you ever need a hand. And you'd be surprised how many people go like, actually, I don't, but my friend does. No, I think you have to keep an open mind. Don't put anything above yourself. I mean, don't do something that's going to be against your inner being. But if I got to dig ditches, I'm digging ditches.
Right.
Plus, it's outdoors. I don't mind.
Anything outdoors is fine with you.
Okay by me.
Okay. So there are some really wonderful ideas, folks. If you need a job, if you need to support yourself on the road, it's almost certainly possible. Make connections, and that's probably the biggest thing you've done, is just friends and community. Build that community. Be open to people and different kinds of things. Be open to social media. Learn skills. That's the future. In the world we live in, people who can do more blue-collar skills are the people who will do the best. So I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you're ready to go out and conquer the world and get a job and build your skills and build up a community, because that's the way life can be the richest and fullest. So thank you, Stephen. I'm just delighted you shared this with us.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. I want everybody that's a nomad to be successful.
Yeah.
There's no reason to struggle.
Right. It can be really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So folks, if you got anything out of this video, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.